Yeah, there are a few calls that I really remember that you don't want to remember. One of them was about 4 days before Christmas on 1989. I had my 5-month-old baby and dropped him off at the babysitter's. While I was over at Engine 14, Skelzo was my partner, Steve Skelzo. He's now retired. He's a paramedic. I was a paramedic. We ran a call, and the call was the address of my babysitter, but it didn't dawn on me until I got to the address. And then when well, I could tell right then and there, I knew what had happened. So when I went in, Jeffrey, he was passed for some time. He died of SIDS. He had white around the eyes, nose, mouth. I pronounced him. We all went to the hospital. And that was one of the things that I had to deal with in my career.
What really occurs during the career of an EMS professional is witnessing anything from emergency childbirth, where you are involved in having a human being take their first breath, and all the way through working what you can, doing what you can to make sure you don't see a person's last breath.
You can do everything right on a call, and it can go wrong for the patient.
You're trying to do the best of your ability to save a life. You can't save everybody. I'm not God. He decides who's going to live and who isn't, not me. As long as you put out 150% in your heart and you know you did everything you can do, that's all that counts.
We are a strong EMS department. I'm extremely proud of how the EMS facet has emerged in this department. It's needed.
EMS in America really started in the late 60s, and the fire department soon after that, 1974, late 74, they had their first EMT class, 9 weeks long. There was an initiative to start hiring returning Vietnam veterans, changing the title and the training from ambulance driver to emergency medical technician, and then eventually to paramedics.
Got approximately a 33-year-old male. He's been shot 3 times, that's shot 3 times. I've been here for 45 years, love what I do. When I came here, there were only 9 or 10 ambulances in the city. We were running about 50,000 calls. 1978, the DC Fire Department was hiring civilians. So I'm still civil service retirement system.
And they had their first paramedic class in 1976, and the first medic unit, back then it was called mobile units, went into service. First one was Mobile 25, operating out of 4-engine, and then soon after Medic 9, operating out of 8-engine. And in 1979, July of 1979, there was a huge reorganization, reclassification that promoted or upgraded 109 members of the EAS, Emergency Ambulance Service back then. It went through several iterations: Emergency Ambulance Service, Emergency Ambulance Division, Emergency Ambulance Bureau, and then ultimately Emergency Medical Service.
I came on in 1989 as a member of Cadet Class 4. Most of us went to fire, half of us went to EMS. The EMS system was kind of a separate entity into the department. And as it integrated itself into the department, through the short time that it was, there were low numbers of ambulances on the street. The paramedic process was starting to happen. We had signed an agreement with George Washington University for the paramedic program.
Soon after that, the department's official name went from DC Fire Department to DC Fire and EMS Department. That was, I believe, fiscal year 1992. The concept of dual role or multi-role employee, where you were trained both in fire and EMS, started to occur.
In the years, we become all hazard team. You do EMS and you do suppression, and you have the opportunity to promote while doing so.
Merging them was not easy. It was sometimes tumultuous, frankly.
Then they decided, hey, let's have PECs on the unit. Then we merged into paramedic engine companies.
Paramedic engine company program kind of went full force in 2005.
And then we went from, they started with, if I remember right, 3, and then we added more, and then added more, and added more, just like they've added more medic units. I know a lot of the family members, they know me, I've been out here for so long. And I was transporting their son, he was about 34 years old, trouble breathing, asthma. Well, as we pull off, I'm treating an asthma patient. Next thing I know, the brakes slam on the medic unit. What the, and I did, I said, what the hell's going on? Next thing I look, the side door opens up and my crew, engine 30, handed me a baby shot in the head. And I got blood all, I said, I got this. And I says, let's go. And you gotta think fast. You don't have time, you have to react. So what we do, we did an IO, CPR, we're working on the baby, and we're going to Children's first, drop the baby off at Children's Hospital, blah, 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 then I'll take him over to Washington Hospital Center. You have to learn to compensate and differentiate between calls because things like this happen all the time.
In my 30 plus years, this was the worst time setting that I've ever been through. I've been through the late 80s with, you know, all the crime and stuff in the late 80s and even most of it in the mid 90s. But this COVID was a complete different mechanism mentally for me. It was like we were in a war zone. You would do a cardiac arrest in the same household in the morning. You come back at lunchtime and you come back in the evening and 3 people are gone, you know, because of COVID. And you know, and I know if it affected me with the experience that I have, it affected a lot of other people.
Now we have a resource to say, hey, we're going to send out help. We're going to make you talk about this call. We're going to provide that opportunity for you to just vent and understand that it's okay to let go.
You arrive probably at one of their worst days in their lives, and that you are a significant factor in that outcome. Just call it to call, year to year, decade after decade. It comes at a cost. There's a lot of not only physical, but emotional, psychological impact on individuals that witness an incredible variety of injury, trauma, tragedy.
At one time, you know, EMS was just, you know, load and go, put them in the buggy and get to the hospital. But the science of it now has taken on, and it's taken legs to where it's grown into a true profession. We have probably 80% paramedic engine companies in every battalion. Now we have 49 total EMS units. So we've come a long way.
I've had every medical director in the history of this agency. See, in the day, it used to be, well, there's pre-hospital and then there's hospital medicine. There were like 2 different entities. So now we're thinking more, not only as pre-hospital people, but also how they think in the hospitals.
Upward mobility has soared. When you look in all positions that matter, a lot of those officers are paramedics. They're actually getting accolades, and you'll find medics on rescue squads, on truck companies, in the aid position, and it's made the position even more attractive.
Medicine changes, it progresses, and as it progresses, you must learn to adapt with the protocols, the drugs.
We are more EMS minded and more EMS ready.